Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about sword. I'm going to nerd a bit about swords. So this is a Chinese sword, a standard sword. Standard in the sense of it's not a special sword, it's just you can buy them everywhere. It's not a particularly sharp sword, it's kind of blunt. But the sword itself is a technique, movement. It helps you to improve your movement. So every little mistake I might make in my hand, I will see it a little bit, a much more bigger mistake in the rest of my sword. First I'm going to talk about drawing the sword. So if you're drawing the sword, you can do it in an active way or a passive way. The active way is that you push it out. So you put your thumb here on the sword itself. I'll show you more here. Thumb goes here and you push it out. And if you do that, it's an active way of drawing the sword. So you're going forward immediately, you have an attack. If you draw the sword, don't push any pressure against the sides of the scabbard. Loose it, make it loose, let it go. There's no force involved. I'm not going to push hard. Second one is defensive. So at this moment I'm stepping back, my sword more or less hand stays at the same spot and I can use it. I'm creating a little bit more space here for me, so my opponent has more space, so if he or she is attacking, I can go backwards. At the same time, I leave the sword at the same spot so I can immediately defend. And as well here, I draw the sword stays on its place and the scabbard is moving. So it wouldn't do the step, it would be like this. But at this moment, I'm walking backwards, release the sword and defend. Also, I don't push pressure on the sides. I'm not going to, I'm just let it go. The grip. I'm holding the sword just fine in my hand. No difficult thing. Just grip and release. So if I'm turning, you don't see, I'm not going to hold it, like I'm not going to control it. Let the sword itself control itself. One of the basic exercises you're doing with the sword is like this. And see how loose I have it in my hand. I have control, but not too much. At that moment, the sword can do its work, and otherwise I'm doing the work. In the beginning, it's possible to put 2 fingers on it, so you have a good way to hit. And you can see, if you're doing this, you see that the point is not so stable. So if I'm hitting things in the wrong angle, the blade will bend or even more or less break off, get a strange angle and it doesn't hit. So what I'm doing, I want to use those 2 fingers just to make a straight line, that I know I'm hitting in a straight line. If I'm more experienced, I can do the same thing, but then again I let the sword do its work. I'm not going to control the sword. If I'm sheathing it, or I'm just holding it, I have to relax it. Important, use both hands to train with the sword. If one hand gets hurt, you can use the other hand. If you're not used to training with 2 hands or only with 1 hand, then something will happen, you're not able to fight so good. And Otherwise, it's very good for your body to train both hands. If I'm having this sword in my hand, I want to determine what I'm going to do with it. This kind of swords are not meant to have a lot of cut. No, it has to glide. So if I'm hitting, I'm hitting forward, yeah? But not with power. It goes like relaxed. So the moment I'm hitting, I'm moving, I let the sword decide where to go to. Where does my sword wants to go? And it can decide. I'm just more kind of an aid to the sword instead of the sword's an aid to me. To be honest, at one point you want to have a cooperation between you and your sword, so you don't want to have a power struggle over it. You want to have a relaxed movement in it. If you look at the sword, you've got several parts of the sword. You've got here the pommel, the grip, the guard, the blade, the point. Now, till here, in this Chinese sword, is okay. It's strong, it's firm. After that, it becomes a little bit movable. This part you use to attack. This part you can use to defend or to cut. This is your defense, this is your grip. Your pommel is also an attack or a counter weight in your movement. So if you look at the 5 elements, I'm working a lot with the 5 elements. This sword, yeah, it's more or less, this is fire, yeah? This cuts, this hurts. This part is defending. It's more earth. In between here, this part is more water. The edge of attacking or defending. This part is the wood. Here's the movement. You can also say that this part is the wood. This part is the metal. So you've got all this. This is wood. This is the metal. This gives you a direction. So if this is correct with your hand, you can hit. Not the point. The point will find its own way. But the metal, it's guiding. It gives me direction. There are a lot of people who are saying also this can be earth, this can be fire. I prefer to use it that this is my fire point and this is the earth point. It gives me direction, it gives me power. So if I'm hitting, I'm not hitting like I'm going behind my head. I just want to be sure that I'm hitting with, from my dantian, from my 3 points under my belly button, there it starts to go. So 1, opening up. The second, I'm opening up to the side, and the third, I'm opening up to the shoulder. So this is forward, this is sideways, this is up. Forward, sideways, up. Forward, sideways, up. And I do the same thing, forward, side, up. Forward, side, up, forward, side, up. And then I'm going to move, and I'll do it very, very big. I'm hitting now. You can also do it a lot more compromised. Bam, compromise. Smaller, 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 smaller. Smaller, smaller. That's also possible. But the trick is you forward momentum, flank, so it's opening, it gives direction, where do I want to go to? And here I just want to move. Gaining energy, directing energy, moving energy. and it gets moved. And the first one, this is the whole movement. There's a lot of power in it. Then the first direction, your arm can only bend like this. It can't go sideways. It's not possible. If I'm locking this, I can't put my arm left or the right. So it comes from here. This is the general energy. Whop. Then it gets a direction by doing this. And this part, your wrist is really fine-tuning it. Yeah? So one, this is getting energy. This is using energy. Gaining energy, using energy. Breathing in and breathing out. These are the first thoughts about the sword. See you next time.